a former prisoner, 31 years old from Zeche, Bethlehem district, was arrested on September 4th, 2012. The arrest was very violent. The soldiers beat her severely, and she was then brought to Woskovia, Russian compound, a detention center in Jerusalem. After 1 month, she was transferred to Hebron prison. Then there is Noor Abu Warda, a teacher from Hebron, and a mother of 1 son. She was arrested from her house on October 9th, 2012. She was brought to a Russian compound, Woskovia in Israel, and endured interrogations. For 10 days, the Israeli authorities prohibited her from meeting a lawyer. She is held in harsh conditions, a very dirty cell without windows with the lights on 24 hours a day. On the 5th of November 2012, she was transferred to Hebron prison. Oftentimes, these women in prison are raped, brutally tortured, and not granted visitation by their loved ones, and have to wait in prisons for long periods of time. Violence towards women is a reality abroad and here in the United States. In the United States, 600,000 to 6 million women are victims of domestic violence each year. 1 in 4 women, 25%, have experienced domestic violence. 3 women are estimated to be killed every day. The health-related costs of intimate partner violence exceeds $5.8 billion each year. Even in dating, which is a common practice here, there is violence and abuse towards women. About 1 in 5 female high school students are physically and sexually abused by their dates. Date rape accounts for about 70% of sexual assaults reported by women attending college. 3 in 4 women, 76%, report they have been raped or physically assaulted as adults by their partners. 21% of the women in the United States have reported they have been raped, physically or sexually harassed.
Anything like that, and do it once a year, you know? Like, what? You are extremely privileged. You live in a world, you live in a community, you live in a culture where you do not need to eat others, and where the rate at which people eat others is directly tied to diseases that happen to human health, that the others that you're eating are produced in an industry that is degrading, destroying, ruining our environment. It's causing environmental discrimination in such a way that poor populations, non-white populations in this country, immigrant populations in this country have really high risks of diseases, have really tough time getting access to healthy food because we create wastelands. The shit from these animals creates toxic waste that gets dumped into the water and into the ground of people who aren't as privileged as us to live far away from that. And add to that the misery and the pain that's being caused. Human workers are being hurt. The individual animals are being hurt. Babies are being ripped from their mothers. These animals would rather not be born than be born into a life that's as violent and oppressive. And then when we consume from these animals, we get cancer, we get heart disease, we get diabetes. The leading causes of death in this country can all be corrected by not eating non-human animals. Further, I believe that it also perpetuates sexism in our society. This is not usually where I bring this conversation to a general audience, but it's International Women's Day, so I'm going to bring it there. Our agricultural industry is based on the degradation and the commodification of female bodies. I mean, male bodies are hurt too. If you think of egg-laying hens, for every egg-laying hen, a baby boy hen was thrown into a plastic bag and suffocated because he was useless. But when we think of the dairy industry, these are all women. Did you know that these women are raped? They don't want to be impregnated. There's actually something called a rape wrap, which they are put on to impregnate them. That only happens because we live in a rape culture, and that also reifies a rape culture. The idea that you can sexually assault a female-bodied individual, the idea that you can use female-bodied individuals to produce eggs and milk for you to consume, and you don't even have to pay her. I mean, that is just, or ask for consent. I think all of these issues tie together, and I think it's a really, really easy choice. And it's super, super easy in Los Angeles, too, because there's like a burrito cart in the evening on every other corner where you can get a really inexpensive, really healthy burrito that has no animal products in it. So like in this community, you only have to walk a block to get a really healthy, really cheap vegan meal that
when we say things like, well, we've done it for centuries, since the beginning of time this has happened. Traditions, following traditions without critically thinking about them is very detrimental and very dangerous. And that's how certain institutions really flourish, because we feel like we need to do things as a society because we're told to, because our mothers and fathers did it, and because our grandparents did it, and our further back ancestors did it. That's not reason enough at all. We need to continuously think about why we are contributing and acting and not acting and thinking the way that we do, and seeing if it actually makes sense to us. And it'll trip you out, you know what I mean? One of my friends says, one of his pieces, he says, living in a cold world, he says, being sane in a crazy world hurts. And I'll never forget that, because it's so true. You know, you tap into that, it's like you can't look back anymore. So remember that it's not about tradition or what's happened for years and years. It's it's of no value. We create tradition.
I believe as humans, like we're natural omnivores.
Do you really? Well, we can go into that too. That's a different conversation. But also the way our teeth are structured, and the fact that our intestines, don't process animal bodies as fast as vegetables. The fact that our teeth are this way, the fact that our jaws. You can watch the Gary Rossby video. It's really good. It covers it all.
Listen, let's give you the premise that you're arguing. Fine, we're natural omnivores. I'm a natural baby-making machine, and I'm 31, and I haven't dropped one out yet because I recognize that I have the privilege to adopt someone. I like spay and neuter, don't breed, whatever species it is. So, and if any of you have kids, that's fine, that's your choice, I'm not denigrating you. But I'm just saying, like, you are not, if you believe that you're tied to your biology, then why are you wearing clothes? Why are you engaging in this thing we call culture? It is not okay to appropriate a biological argument when it's useful for you, and then to throw it away when it's not useful for you. There's a lot of things that we are made to do. Women historically have been